Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm gonna be showing you my Fallout 4 build. I'm having so much fun with this build that I decided to make a video on this and decided to share with you guys. This build focuses most of the points on perception and agility, and the idea of this build is to be very precise and use your V.A.T.S as much as you can. My favorite weapon to use with this build is obviously the shotgun, as this build relies on you getting up close and using the V.A.T system to score a headshot. Depending on the situation, you can also use other weapons. I sometimes use sniper rifles to pick enemies off from a distance, and when they get close by, I use my shotguns or pistols. Just like any other build, this build also has its own strengths and weaknesses. The strengths being obviously you'll be saving a lot of ammo, and it's fun to see heads explode. Okay, to summarize this build is mostly a short to medium range combat build, and like I said, you could use your sniper rifles to pick enemies off from a distance, but I found that using shotguns is the best way to take care of enemies really quickly. One of the most important part of this build is your dog. You will use him for basically a meat shield and a distraction. I find in my experience so far, I could be wrong, but in my experience, enemies try to focus on him a lot more than me. So I use him as a meat shield and pick enemies off while they're trying to kill him. And since he cannot die, it's a win-win situation. Okay, so let's get to the build, shall we? So these are my current stats at level 10, and you can take a look on the screen for my starting stats. I believe I started with 4 strength and I still have 4. I didn't put much into this because this build really doesn't need strength. So the only skill I'm interested in this tree is the armor skill, which allows me to craft armors and modify them. And this is going to help me a lot in staying alive. Now, the perception is the main stat of this build. You want it as high as possible, but don't try to max it out when you create your character, because you will get one free from the bobblehead that you find quite early on in the game. There are some interesting skills in this tree, such as pickpocket, but I haven't really felt the need to use this so far, but maybe in the future. The rifleman skill, I might use it since I use shotguns a lot, as this directly affects the shotgun damage. But for now, I picked the locksmith skill, as you will see a lot of locks and safes that you can crack in the game. So I feel this is a must-have. Next up is endurance. This will allow you to have more health and allow you to sprint for longer. When I started my character, I had just 3 points in endurance, and I believe I added 1 from a bobblehead that you get at your own house. This build is quite squishy due to its low endurance, so if you feel you're dying quite often, just bump this up 1 or 2 points. But there are ways to get around this. I'll explain that in a bit. Okay, before we move on to charisma, as I mentioned before, I use 2 sets of gear. The other set of gear is a charisma heavy gear, which I use to boost my charisma up when I am walking around in towns or talking to people. The only skill I have in this tree is the Lone Wanderer skill, which gives me extra defense and increased carrying capacity as long as I'm without a companion. And as I mentioned earlier, I use my dog most of the time, and he does not really count as a companion for some reason. And this skill works when you have dogmate in your squad. So At max rank, you can see this gives me a 30% increase in damage resistance, which is a lot, and also 100 extra carrying capacity is not a small thing. So I use this skill to make up for the lack of defense that I have. So moving on to intelligence, this having high intelligence score will not only give you more XP but also allow you to uh, hack terminals and get skills such as gun nut, which allows you to modify weapons. And this is an essential part of my build, the gun nut skill. Also the hacker skill, quite useful, hacking terminals are everywhere. But another good perk in this tree is the scrapper skill, which will give you uncommon materials when you scrap weapons. Moving on, we have agility. I started with 5. I still have 5 in this tree, and so far I haven't had any perks on this tree, but we'll see how it goes. Last but not the least, we have luck. I began with 3. I still have 3 points. I'll probably work on it as soon as I'm done maxing out my perception, because some of the skills in the luck tree are really good and allow you to have more crit damage and give you more ammo, give you more loot. So it's worth investing in this tree. So there you have it, guys. That's my V.A.T.S build, as I like to call it. And I'm really enjoying this build, and I'll keep posting more updates as soon as I get to level 15 or maybe 20. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time.